One of the most rooted and interesting traditions of Fiat was to encourage car stylists to create their own interpretations of each new model of the brand, which was presented annually at the Turin Motor Show, an initiative with multiple positive implications. It has contributed to making Italian automotive design great, fueling the imagination of stylists. It has allowed the various style centers to be born and grow. He created that mystical aura that made the Turin Motor Show a showcase of primary importance, an appointment that all fans and professionals from all over the world were looking forward to. Now, the auto shows of the past no longer exist. Most of the style centers have disappeared, and Fiat, from being a world-class manufacturer, has been dismembered from the inside, and from a leading player, it has become up one. But this is another story. Let's go back to the Turin Motor Show, and, specifically, to the 49th edition, in November 1967. The star of the event is the Fiat 125, the luxury sedan, built to counter the success of the Alfa Romeo Giulia. It is a 3-volume, with an important appearance, excellent performance, and high-level finishes. Yes, Fiat also knew how to build good cars. In addition to the official sedan, the variants of the car stylists are exhibited in the various stands. Bertoni's 125 Executive, designed by Gandini. Moretti's 125 G's Capì. The 125 Familiar, by OC. The 125 GTZ, of Zagato. The 125 Capì by Savio. Finally, a pleasant Capì, proposed by Vignale. Her name is 125 Samantha. She has a successful style that follows the trends of the moment and anticipates others. The design is the fruit of the inspiration of Virginio Vero, father of the Maserati Mexico and Indy. The Surveyor, as he is nicknamed, creates a slender car, with soft shapes and taut lines, that blend together to give rise to a fastback Capì. The car is liked, and, given the considerable interest, Vignale decides to produce it. Fiat supplies the mechanicals, and in the new Grugliasco plant, the Samantha is assembled by hand. The side view highlights the reduced height of the car. The line is slender and tapered, perhaps a little too much in the front, which is poorly harmonized with the volume of the tail. But it is only a very small note to a car that has a design that perfectly mixes elegance and sportiness. The lateral dihedral crosses the entire side and helps to streamline the whole. The doors are the same as the Jensen Interceptor, designed by Vignale. The cut of the rear side windows, which can be opened with a compass, was very successful. On the rear pillar, the original passenger compartment air vents, round, and of decreasing diameter, towards the tail. On the lower part of the rear fenders, there is the only identification plate of the model. The thin blade bumper divides the front section horizontally into two distinct parts. The lower one, rounded and tapered towards the bottom, highlights the air intake of the radiator. It is a thin slit that narrows towards the curves of the sides. The edge is covered with a stainless steel molding, with a double function, aesthetic and practical. In fact, it is used to cover the fold of the sheet and repair the paint in a particularly delicate point. The chrome bumper, essential in design, supports the direction indicators. The upper part is characterized by the retractable round headlights, similar in shape to those seen in the Bertoni Testudo of '63, and, in operation, to those of the Miura by Gandini, and of the Porsche 928 of 1977. The diameter is well proportioned to the size of the front. They are surrounded by a chromed border, and move in a vertical position when switched on. The command is electric. The rear is covered with a spherical dome, in vehicle color. The emblem appears among the headlights. On the first examples, it has written Fiat on a red background. On some, it is the Vignale emblem. The bonnet, hinged on the front, is crossed longitudinally by a scratch, which starts from the seat of the emblem, and ends at the base of the windshield. This is well proportioned, and connects perfectly to the side windows. All crystals have beautiful polished stainless steel bezels. The rear view shows a clean and elegant whole. The particular cut, shape and position of the optical groups are reminiscent of certain American achievements of the period. The optical groups are those of the 125 sedan. The rear window is very inclined and flat. The slim bumper streamlines the whole. In the lower part, in the center, the reversing light. On the rear panel of the bonnet, the friezes stand out. On the left, the word Vignale. On the right, the same Fiat 125 plate of the sedan. At the end of 1968, both the Vignale plate and the 125 lettering changed. And with the launch of the 125 Special, the plates changed again. Being a handcrafted car, the painting could be ordered according to the customer's specification, who could also choose other customizations, such as the design of the wheels. The standard rims are the same as those of the 125, in sheet metal, with round holes, and chromed central cup. On request, alloy wheels of different designs and suppliers, the most common, are the Chromadora, but different Samanthas, mount BWA, or ESOP. With the presentation of the 125 Special, the cups take on the new spoke design. Another aspect of the handcrafted construction are some imperfections, which can be found in the coupling of the sheet metal. Apart from that, the Samantha finishes are of a very good standard, with impeccable materials and paint. When the door is opened, the steel-covered footrest stands out, with the Vignale lettering printed in the center. Another detail, the door clearance light, unusual at the time, derived from Mercedes. The seats, upholstered in sky, available in various colors, are slightly profiled. The side bracket, that incorporates the tilting and tilting mechanism, is beautiful. The rear sofa is shaped to accommodate 2 passengers. In the center, it houses an opening armrest, which hides an object holder, and the ashtray. The Samantha is a real 4-seater coupe, comfortable and spacious. Door panels have a sophisticated design, and are covered in contrasting, monochrome or two-tone sky. The dashboard has an elegant and linear design. The upper part is padded and covered in black sky. The central part and the tunnel, covered in wood. The instrumentation is clearly visible in front of the pilot. It has 2 large round dials that house instruments and lights. On the left, the speedometer, the same as the 125, but with a full scale at 190 km/h, compared to the 180 of the sedan. On the right, the rev counter, although, on some of the early Samanthas, the same clock as the 125 sedan, is mounted in its place. In the following, it is small, and mounted in the center. The original steering wheel is a 2-spoke Ferrero, with wooden crown, but it was possible to mount steering wheels of different designs, on request. The central tunnel, on the first examples, is long, and supports the handbrake lever. On the following units, it is shorter. It houses the air conditioning controls, and the loudspeaker, the gear lever, with a ball knob, and the leather boot, and, behind the handbrake, the electric window controls, fitted as standard, and not provided for any car of that range of price. On the following specimens, the controls are on the dashboard panel. The craftsmanship, and excellent finishes, can also be seen inside, especially in some details, such as the grip handles, or the knobs for opening the deflectors. And the handcrafted construction also determines slight differences in the setup between the various specimens. Also, with regard to the interior, customizations could be requested, based on the customer's tastes, such as the color of the upholstery, or specific accessories, such as the radio, or the electrical antenna. The trunk is roomy and well usable. The mechanicals faithfully follow that of the 125 sedan. The engine is the same twin-cam, designed by Lampredi, with a displacement increased to 1608 cc, and powered by a Weber double-barrel carburetor, even if some specimens are fitted with Solex. The power is quite high, for a 1.6 of the period, 90 horsepower at 5,600 revolutions per minute. The torque is 13 kg at 3,500 revolutions per minute. The gearbox is 4-speed, traction on the rear wheels. With the debut of the 125S, in 1968, the Samantha also adopts the 5-speed gearbox, and the engine boosted to 100 horsepower at 6,200 revolutions per minute, and torque of 13.3 kg at 4,000 revolutions per minute. The braking system boasts discs on the 4 wheels, and is equipped with brake booster. From 1968, it will be upgraded, and equipped with a double circuit and braking regulator. The suspensions have independent front wheels, with wishbones and anti-roll bar. At the rear, rigid axle, with leaf springs, and longitudinal tie rods. Screw and roller steering. The tank has a capacity of 50 liters. The dimensions are important for the period: 4 meters and 38 centimeters in length, 1 meter and 65 centimeters in width, and a height of 1 meter and 29 centimeters, 10 centimeters less than the sedan. The declared weight is 1,135 kilograms, about 90 kilograms more than the 125. Vignale declares a maximum speed of 170 km/h, for the first version. 175 km per hour, for the 100 horsepower version. The behavior of the Samantha is very good. The basic sensations are those of the Fiat 125 sedan: good road holding, good control of the car, excellent braking. The new two-door body, more rigid, and with a lower center of gravity, improves all aspects that create the driving experience. On bumpy and wet roads, driving requires more attention, due to rear-wheel drive, and the particular suspension scheme adopted at the rear. The gearbox is good for handling and ratios. The heavier weight determines an imperceptible worsening of acceleration from a standstill, compared to the sedan. Very good comfort, in absolute terms for the period, and considering the sporty nature of the model. As we have seen, the Vignale 125 Samantha is an exclusive car, well built, with an original and modern design, comfortable and spacious, with high performance. There are not many coupes that could offer all this at the time. The list price is higher than the 125 sedan, 1,800,000 Italian liras, against 1,300,000, but lower than that of other sport cars, such as the Alfa Romeo Giulia Sprint GT 1600, the Lancia Fulvia Coupe 1.6, and the BMW 1600 Gigatons, which exceed 2 million of Italian liras. And let's not forget that the Samantha is handcrafted, and has accessories, such as retractable headlights, or electric windows, a prerogative of much more popular GTs, which none of the competitors have. With all these premises, it had to be a commercial success. Why is it a practically unknown car instead? The main cause is due to the lack of publicity for the car. Furthermore, Vignale did not have a sales network, and its cars could only be purchased from a few authorized dealers in the Fiat network. And, in times when the internet was science fiction, finding them was a problem. Furthermore, a small company like Vignale was probably not prepared for large numbers. The production rate of the Samantha assembly line was approximately 1 unit per week, from the end of 1967 to 1971, when it went out of production. 108 were set up, according to some sources, while for others some less. 30% of the production was sold in Italy, the rest was exported, especially to France and England, where the sales of the car found support in the work of the various direct importers, in particular, in the United Kingdom, where the Samantha was nicknamed Little Maserati. 27 were sold, thanks to the initiative of a Cypriot businessman, Frios Demetrio, first British casino tycoon, and later an importer of exotic cars. Demetrio himself found death at the wheel of a Samantha, crushed by a crazy tank, on the streets of his native Cyprus. The short history of the Samantha is one of the last testimonies of a golden age for the Italian automotive industry, which also lived in small companies, such as Vignale, which had their own limited, but exclusive range of personal and customizable cars. Italian car design dictated a worldwide school, and Italy was the home of small manufacturers, who expanded the offer of national cars. But, shortly thereafter, the scene changed irremediably, with the oil crisis of the early 70s, and the industrial revolution of the entire automotive sector, which reduced the dreams and ambitions of small manufacturers, but also, because of absurd government policies, that, in the following decades, will bring the Italian industrial empire to defeat. Vignale itself, as an autonomous entity, will not survive the first signs of the crisis in the sector, and, at the end of 1971, will be absorbed by Ford. The 125 Samantha, although little known, remains an excellent car, with undoubted construction and road qualities, and equipped with a personal design. Thanks to these qualities, and the small number of copies produced, it is a coveted collector's item.